Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel Vijaya Biology Tutorials. This is the other worksheet of the lesson respiration. And before going to the topic, please do subscribe to my channel Vijaya Biology Tutorials. Let's go to the topic. So your first question is cluster of the air sacs in lungs is called. So here we know that if you observe the structure of the lungs, we know that trachea, from the trachea will be divided into two parts. You can say one is bronchi. So left side and right side you can observe the bronchi, and again the bronchi divides into number of branches called as bronchioles. At the end of the branch, we are having a tiny sac-like structures called as alveoli. So that bag-like structures are called as alveoli. So the answer for this question is alveolus. Next, the structure that acts as the lid over the glottis. So here, if you know, pharynx and larynx are the two. Pharynx is a common passage for the food and as well as the air. There we are having a lid-like structure. That lid-like structure over the glottis is called as the epiglottis. So this plays a very important role for the passage of the food into the stomach as well as for the passage of the air into the lungs. So epiglottis is the most important structure that is present over the glottis as a lid. Next question. Alveoli covers an area. Here we know that alveoli are the tiny sac-like structures that are present in the lungs, and they are very small and uncountable alveoli structures will be present. And how much area do they spread means around 160 square meters. So in the lungs 160 square meters will be filled with the alveoli. The more number of the alveoli, it is proportional to more amount of the exchange of gases. Means if more number of alveoli present, then more exchange of gases will be occurred. Next, dash is used for talking and singing songs. Vocal cords. So we know that we are having the larynx. Larynx is helpful for the process of the singing and as well as talking also. So that is nothing but vocal cords you can say, or voice box you can call. Larynx is called as voice box, which help in the process of singing as well as talking. So the air passes into that larynx, and finally it goes to the trachea, and finally it goes to the lungs. So vocal cords is used for talking and singing purpose. Next, all the movements of the breathing is controlled by dash leading from the brain. We know that all the activities are controlled by the brain itself. Only few activities like reflex actions cannot be controlled by the brain, but most of the activities will be controlled by the brain. So here the process of the respiration or the process of the breathing is an involuntary action. So all the involuntary actions are controlled by the medulla oblongata of the brain. So here the answer is medulla is the answer for this question. Next, what will happen if the respiratory tract is not moist? So if the respiratory tract is not moist, what will happen? So if you observe the answer, if the respiratory tract is not moist, all the dirt particles present in the inhaled air won't be trapped, and the dirt particles goes to the lungs and causes respiratory problems. So here what is the function of this moistness in the respiratory tract means, generally when we are inhaling air, in the inhaled air different types of the gases will be present. Along with the different types of the gases, dust particles also will be present, which are present in the atmosphere. So when these dust particles, when they enter into the respiratory tract, if the respiratory tract is not moist, it can't capture the dust particles. As it can't capture the dust particles, all the dust particles, they will move to the lungs and they will cause infection to the lungs. So that is the main thing. So if the respiratory tract is not moist, the trapping of the dust particles won't be possible. If the dust particles are not trapped, then the lungs will be getting the infection. Okay, so this is the answer for this question. Next, why alveolus is so small and uncountable in number? So why they are very small means, in order to fit in the given space. So if they are big means their number will become less. When their number becomes less, the exchange of gases won't be possible. That's why they have to be small, so they can fit easily for the process of exchange of gases. They are countless. As they are tiny, we cannot count them. So more number of alveoli will lead to more exchange of the gases. So if you observe the answer, alveoli is so small and uncountable in number because they are helpful in the increasing the moist surface available for the transfer of gases. So they are helpful in increasing the moist surface which is needed for the exchange of gases between the air and the blood. So in the blood, whatever unwanted gases will be there, those should be sent outside, and in the air, whatever important gases are there, those should be trapped inside the body. So these all process will be done by the alveoli, which is present in the lungs, which are small sac like structures that are present in the lungs. They are so small and they are uncountable also. Okay, next. So that is the answer for this question. Next, write one difference between inspiration and expiration. First of all, what is inspiration? Inspiration is nothing but the process of taking the air in into the body is called as inspiration. And what is expiration? Means the process of sending of the air out of the body is called as expiration. So inspiration means breathing inside to breathe, taking the air into the body. Expiration, sending the air outside of the body is called as expiration. So here in the inspiration process, what is happening? We know that the lungs will be sitting on the diaphragm, means they will be landed on the diaphragm. The diaphragm plays a very important role in the process of inspiration as well as the expiration. If you observe, during inspiration, the diaphragm contracts, means it will be contracting. Just to say that the diaphragm will be in a dome shaped structure. The diaphragm will be in a dome shaped structure. Sorry, not in inspiration. In expiration, it will be in the dome shaped structure. But in inspiration, what happens? The diaphragm will be contracted and the thoracic cavity increases. So the volume of thoracic cavity increases so that it can take more amount of the air from the atmosphere. Are you able to understand? So in the process of inspiration, the diaphragm will be contracting so that the volume of the thoracic cavity will be increasing. As the volume of the thoracic cavity increases, it can capture more amount of the inspired air, so that in that inspired air, more amount of the oxygen can be taken into the body. That is one difference. And if you see, while in the expiration, what happens in the expiration? Let us see. If you see, in expiration, the diaphragm relaxes. Here the diaphragm relaxes, means the diaphragm will be in a dome shaped. In the process of expiration, the diaphragm will be in a dome shaped in the process of expiration, and the volume of thoracic cavity increases. As the volume of thoracic cavity increases, it will be pushing the air that is present in the thoracic cavity towards outside. So here, are you able to understand? In the inspiration process, the diaphragm contracts and the volume of the thoracic cavity increases. As the volume of thoracic cavity increases, it can take more amount of the air into the body. And if you see in the expiration, the diaphragm will be relaxing state. It will be in a relaxing state, and it will be in a it will be in a dome shaped position. When it is in a dome shaped position, the thoracic cavity increases. As the thoracic cavity's volume increases, so the air which is present in the thoracic cavity, it cannot withhold all that air, and it will be sending that air into the atmosphere through the process of the expiration. So this is the difference between the expiration and inspiration. Next question. What is meant by swallowing? Swallowing is also called as deglutition. Deglutition. So we call the other name of the swallowing is deglutition. What is swallowing? If you observe, it is the act of passing the food from the mouth by the way of pharynx and esophagus to the mouth. So here we are sending the food from the pharynx, from the esophagus, finally to the stomach. So that is the definition for the swallowing. Next, why are we advised not to talk while eating food? So it causes choking of the food pipe. So here we can observe, if anyone is talking while eating, means obviously choking occurs. Why does choking occurs? Means if you want to talk, compulsory the air has to pass to the trachea. If the trachea is nothing but it is the windpipe. If the air has to pass to the trachea, it has to pass through the pharynx. The pharynx is a common pipe for food as well as the air. So when you are talking, the air goes to the pharynx, and at the same time when you are eating, the particles of food may enter into the pharynx. When they enter into the pharynx, so here both the actions cannot be done at the same time. So talking as well as eating cannot be done at the same time. So if they are done, it will cause choking. Choking means nothing but there will be some disturbance in the food pipe, that is called as choking. So we are not advised to talk while eating food because it may lead to choking of the food pipe. Then the epiglottis will not get a clarification whether to be closed or to be opened. So it leads to the choking of the food pipe. Next, what is helpful you to swallow? Epiglottis diverts the food mass away from the opening of the larynx and helps to swallow the food. So it will be diverting the way, means from the larynx it goes to the from the larynx away from the opening of the larynx, and finally it goes to the, means without going to the voice box, from the pharynx the food will be going into the esophagus. Okay, so epiglottis, what is it doing? It is diverting the way from the larynx, and from the pharynx the food goes to the esophagus, from the esophagus to the stomach. Here who is helping? Means epiglottis is helping. Next, what happens if epiglottis is absent? If epiglottis is absent, the passage of air into the lungs and food into the esophagus will be disturbed. Yeah, of course. So why? Because pharynx is a common passage for both respiratory tract as well as the digestive tract. The common passage is pharynx. In the pharynx only you can observe the epiglottis. So while you are swallowing the food, the epiglottis will be closed, so that from the pharynx the food goes to the esophagus. While you are talking, the epiglottis will be opened, so that the air can go to the trachea, nothing but windpipe, and produce the sound. So if the epiglottis is absent, the passage of the food will be disturbed as well as the passage of the air also will be disturbed. Sometimes food may enter into the windpipe and leads to choking. So sometimes what will happen? The food may enter into the trachea and it may leads to choking. The lungs also will be disturbed and leads to death also. So due to heavy choking also, as the air cannot pass into the lungs, then automatically, as due to the less supply of the oxygen, the person sometimes he may die also. So here what happens is, if the epiglottis is absent, the passage of the air into the lungs and food into the esophagus will be disturbed. Sometimes food may enter into the windpipe and leads to choking. The lungs also will be disturbed and finally leads to death. So these are the questions of this worksheet. I think everyone has understood these questions, and if you're having any doubt regarding these questions, please comment me. I'll answer to your questions. I think everyone has understood this video. If you like this video, please share and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.